Hi everyone, I'm Celeste. Welcome to my BookTube channel, A Reader's Almanac. It has been a minute since I've been on here. Sorry about that. I am taking some time off and having a little bit of a hiatus or sabbatical, whatever you will. But I did want to hop on here today and just catch you up on my TBR Wheel of Fortune Spinner Challenge for 2025. In January, I did introduce my trusty spinner wheel here, and as you can see, it has all of the years from 2012 up to 2025 on it. I got this idea from the Book Girls Guide. They have some wonderful reading challenges, so you should definitely check them out, and they have tons and tons of great book recommendations. They do, when you sign up with your email, they do give you access to this backlist reading challenge called In Case You Missed It. And so it's got all the years 2012, well, I added 2012, but then there's 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 2024, and I added 2025 down at the bottom there. The idea is to help me whittle away this horrendous pile of TBR books, which are spread out all over my floor in the corner of the room over there. They have taken over the corner of the room there. And so I'm trying to make my way through the TBR, and I also am challenging myself to read more contemporary titles. So I do have many books which were written a long time ago, like classics from the 1800s and early 1900s. I have a lot of vintage books that I want to read as well. So I also have those, a history of all the Newberys and all of that. But I do also have a lot of contemporary books, especially because this past year for Christmas, I was given the Book of the Month Club as a gift. And so of course those are more contemporary books. So I am trying to make my way through the pile over in the corner there. So in January, I had posted a video introducing my little spinning wheel here, and I had spun it. And so for January, the wheel selected the year 2023. So then what I do is I go to my handy dandy list here, and it's so packed. I even have things over in the margins here. And so that narrowed it down to two possible reads for January, and those were The Black Feathers by Rebecca Netley. And this is a scary book, I think sort of along the lines of Laura Purcell, that kind of book, kind of a gothic, scary book. This one seems like it would be a really good spooky winter read, and it was January, so it would have been just fine. It would have fit the prompt. But I decided to choose this book, The Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. I loved this book. This was such a great read, and I am so happy that I chose this, and I read it in tandem with the real life diary of the midwife Martha Ballard from the 1780s, and it's such a remarkable story. This is a fictionalized account, of course, but Ariel Lahan, the author, does include a lot of elements from the real Martha Ballard's life. So I highly recommend this. If anyone is telling you don't read contemporary books, they are wrong, because there are books like this out there which are fantastic. So that was for January. So now this can go on my shelves. I have knocked one book off of my TBR using my handy dandy wheel here. I'm going to save The Black Feathers for probably next winter. Okay, so then for February, I had spun the wheel again, and it gave me two choices. One was The Black Count by Tom Race, and the other was Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And Gone Girl is another book, a thriller, that I would love, love, love to read, and I've had this in my TBR pile for absolutely ever, but I wasn't really in the mood for it at the time. So I went with my mood, because I'm very much also a mood reader, and I decided to listen to The Black Count by Tom, I don't know if it's Reese or Rice, but I had that as an audiobook in Audible, which I had already purchased. I do also have the physical copy somewhere in this room, but that will tell you just how many books I have lying around in this room in my TBR, because I could not find the physical copy when I wanted it. It is buried somewhere. So I decided to listen to it because I also had it on Audible. And that also turned out to be a great read. It was quite long, and I wish it had been a little bit abridged, but overall I really liked it. I learned so much about Alexander Dumas' father, and in fact so much so that it put me in the mood to start yet another challenge, which was to read more French literature. Now, I do have a challenge where I'm reading around the world, which is a really long-term challenge, but I am also wanting to read more French literature, and I did also post a video about French literature that I would like to read in the coming years. So I will post that down below as well. But in any event, yeah, that was my selection for 2012. Then in March, yeah, I just got very, very busy. And so I did spin the wheel and I did record it. And the year that came up was, what was it? It was 2021. And there were many books available in my TBR for 2021. And so the books that came up there were 5 altogether, okay? So the first one for March was The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. And now I read a book by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, The Way Past Winter, which was a children's book. This is an adult book. It sounds phenomenal. This, I think it takes place like in a fishing village way up north or in Scandinavia, somewhere like that, Norway, a long time ago. And I think most of the men meet their demise in a fishing boat accident, and the women are left alone in the town or the village and have to fend for themselves. And it seems very atmospheric, very spooky. It seems like it would be a really great read for like November or over the winter, something kind of bleak that you want, a book you want to curl up with in front of a fire with a cup of tea when it's cold out and snowy. But because it was March, I kind of felt past that, so I am saving this. I absolutely want to read it, but I am saving it for another time. And then there was also the possibility of Mrs. England by Stacey Halls, and I have never read anything by Stacey Halls before, and I got a bunch of Stacey Halls books in a collection on eBay, which I kind of purchased as a bulk buy, like en masse, a lot of Stacey Halls books. So yeah, this one looked really good to me. And then there was also 3 others. There was The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, which is this one here. And this one looks really interesting too. Hidden in the depths of 18th century London, a secret apothecary shop caters to an unusual kind of clientele, Women across the city whisper of a mysterious figure named Nella, who sells well-disguised poisons to use against the oppressive men in their lives. And then I think it's like a dual time thing. It leaps back and forth. It says 200 years later, aspiring historian Carolyn Parswell discovers an aged apothecary vial in the River Thames as she is newly grappling with the searing betrayal of her husband's infidelity. A curious research project is exactly the distraction she needs, but when she discovers a link between the vial and London's long unsolved apothecary murders, Carolyn's upended present soon collides with an explosive history, binding her fate to Nella's and Eliza's in a stunning twist that transcends the barrier of time. So this sounds really cool. And this is a Book of the Month pick. So there is that one. There is also the thriller Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is a more recent book as well. I love the cover with all the snow, but again, because it's very snowy and wintry, I'm thinking I would rather save this maybe for like next year, next December, January. And then there was one other one, which was a nonfiction. And this is Letters of Great Women, Extraordinary Correspondence from History's Remarkable Women, edited by Lucinda Hawksley. Isn't this a beautiful edition? It's hardcover. Oh my goodness, there are so many incredible letters in here. There's 50 letters from all different time periods, all written by women. And I'll just read you some of the authors that are in here. Cleopatra, Catherine of Aragon, Lady Jane Grey, Elizabeth I, Abigail Adams, Anne Lister, Jane Austen, Mary Anning, Ada Lovelace, George Eliot, Charlotte Bronte, Florence Nightingale, Shirley Chisholm, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Greta Thunberg, Virginia Woolf, so many, so many. So, and I'll just flip through it a little. Look at there's like facsimiles of the letters. There's also black and white photography in here. Let me just see if I can find something else to say. It shows the original letters, and then it also prints them so that you can read them more easily. So this is really cool. So there are 5 books that I had to choose from for March, and the one I ended up choosing was Mrs. England. And this was such a good read. I so enjoyed this. If you read Bone China by Sarah Purcell, and you liked that, and you like kind of moody gothic stories about women who go to work as governesses at mysterious households, like in the style of Jane Eyre, etc., you would probably like this. It's a very slow burn, and not a lot really happens. It's more about the mood and the atmosphere, but that being said, so like don't expect like this huge climax to it. It's a slow burn, and it's kind of quiet. It takes place in 1904, or at least it starts in 1904 in England, and it's about Ruby May, who is a nanny, and she's come through like nanny school, or I don't know what you would call it, nanny academy, and she's graduated, and she's going to work for a family. She works for one family, but they decide they're going to emigrate to the United States, and so she needs to be assigned another family. And it goes on from there, and the family she's assigned to has their secrets and their strange past, and everything is sort of weird in the house. Stacey Halls is a really good writer. She has a way of evoking the time period, and the thing I love most about her is that all writers try to write with the senses and give us, you know, what things tasted like and smelled like and felt like and all of that, but she is so good at it. Just the strangest little references to things like Oh, when she's getting her letter that's arrived in the post and it's on a silver tray in the hallway, and she goes to get it and she notices the decaying flowers in the vase. Or when there's a lull in a conversation that Ruby is having with one of the characters, and while there's a lull, she describes the look on the other speaker's face, and she also hears a dog barking down by the mill and all of that. It's just so evocative. It's really great. I love the way she unveiled the plot. I love the characters. I love the period descriptions. So I highly recommend this. This is the book that I chose for March for my TBR Wheel of Fortune spin. And then I thought that today I would also just spin the wheel for April. Since I am on with you now, I'm supposed to be doing these live with you and not just telling you that I spun the wheel. So I am going to spin the wheel again now, and we'll see what we're going to pick for April 2025. Here we go. Okay, 2021. So, wow, that's really weird. I got the same year again, which was 2021, and I have lots and lots of choices. So I guess I didn't really go into much detail about the rules I was setting for myself, like if I've already read a book from that year, if I get the same year coming up again, do I respin? I don't know. You guys tell me what you think in the comments below. But in any event, let's see. I think I'm going to just go ahead and read another one from that year because I feel like it. I think I'm going to leave that choice up to me, like when I spin it. Do I feel like sticking with the same year if I spin it a second time? Or do I give myself a respin? I think I'm going to give myself the choice whether I want to respin or not. And this time around, I'm going to choose another book from that year. So I've already read Mrs. England, so that is out of the running. And then Rock, Paper, Scissors, I do want to read, but as I said, I want to save it for the winter time. Looks like a great snowy wintertime thriller for like a dark November night or a December night or something. So I am going to save that. And then the same, I think, with the Mercies. As I said, that's another one that would be great for the winter time, I think. So I am going to hold off on the Mercies. That leaves two books. That leaves Letters of Great Women, which is the nonfiction book with all the correspondence. And then there is also The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, which I've heard really good things about. Who read this? It might have been Katie Lumsden from Books and Things, but don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure if it was her. So, decisions. This does have kind of a springy floral cover. I don't really know what season it takes place in. I do like to read seasonally, but it doesn't like have to be seasonal. Okay, this one starts out, chapter 1, this starts out in February, which doesn't, in and of itself mean everything. And then this one is letters, so there's no real time frame. Okay, I think I'm going to go actually with Letters of Great Women. And the reason for that is because it is now April, and I know the People April is taking place, or People April. I'm never quite sure what to call that reading challenge. But I believe that is done by Roz from Scallydandling about the books. Sorry, Roz, if I just butchered that. But she has a wonderful challenge every year where you read about people, you read biographies, you read memoir. Primary sources, letters, journals, diaries, that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to choose Letters of Great Women as my April pick. And this is quite a heavy chunker. It's like a coffee table book, so it would be nice to, isn't that pretty? Look at the colors. It would be nice to get this off of the pile on the floor and be able to put it away in the bookcase. And it's very springy looking. I think it's wonderful for April. So that is what I have selected. My read for April 2025 is Letters of Great Women, edited by Lucinda Hawksley. So, okay, we are up to 4 months worth of spinning the Wheel of Fortune, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will be coming up next in May. How are you getting through your TBR pile, and how are you sort of slashing that down and deciding what to read? Do you read by mood, or are you coming up with some sort of system that helps you move your way through that pile? Let me know. And I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're having a good early spring so far. The snow is pretty much gone. We do have little flurries when the weather dips down into the 30s and 40s, but we have just as many days now in the 50s, and the crocuses have put their heads up above the soil, so that's really nice. I'm starting to put out the spring feeders for the birds on the patio, and the sun is feeling warmer, so that's all good. And I hope you're doing really well, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.